So you got some gear oil or some transmission fluid, and you need to put it in the transmission, but there's clearly no room to really do that. You can fight with it and put a hose on there and try to hold it just enough, but you'll never get the full amount of fluid in the differential or the transmission. Back here at the diff, we got a plug up in here, so there's really no room to really hold it up top in order to fill it. So a trick that I've been using for years is take the stock bottle, use a pick or a knife or something. What you do is you poke a small hole in the top of the bottle. Once you have the hole started, kind of like that, take an air gun. You're going to need a compressor to do this, but you can do this under the car or with the car in the air. Shove the air nozzle in there. There's a little line on the end of the air nozzle. It'll kind of catch your hole that you made. So that's how that goes. And next thing you want to do is get yourself a rubber piece of tubing like this, flexible line, clear preferably. And what you're going to do is you're going to cut the end, you're going to slit it. This is so it won't be creating a suction up against the actual oil jug. Nice. Then you're going to take your top and you're going to tightly cut this top to where it actually is very stiff on the line, because what we're going to do is we're going to pressurize the tube and then we're going to shoot up oil from the bottom. So you can go ahead and crack your shit open, and then you can measure how far down you want this tube to go and pretty much get a good idea. This has already been sized for it. I'm going to push it down a little bit more. So now that we have this contraption, you can actually pick this up and stick it inside where you need to fill. And then all you really need to do is hold it with your air gun, hold the nozzle in the transmission, and just give it a little bit of air pressure. If you have an air pressure regulator, you can set it really low so you don't risk blowing up the bottle. If I give this full blast, this bottle is going to blow up and shoot oil all over the place. When you do this trick, make sure you wear safety goggles. But if I give it just enough, sometimes you can squeeze the bottle to get an idea. You'll have just enough pressure that it will push the fluid level out of the jug. You can see it right here, and push it into the transmission. So I'm going to give it just enough, and you'll see this level drop right here. So now we've used a bit of fluid. I'm going to push this hose in a little bit more, see if I can get all of it. Normally from the fill port, it'll drip out of the port. So as soon as you see it start seeping out, then you know you're topped off, and you can clean it out, wipe it down, and put the plug back in. I've never seen anyone else do this, but I do this all the time. You know, on the ground, in the air, you know, transmissions, differentials, it works awesome. So, you know, you can switch it over to transmission fluid bottles as well. This one right here got a hole ready to go, so that's what I was using it for last, but works really well. Also, you can prop your bottles up in the air like that to kind of scavenge any remaining oil. Crow's foot wrench, they work really well when you're trying to break one loose. This really doesn't have to be too tight, so just tighten it until it pretty much wants to stop. Basically, you have to use a good throttle control, otherwise you're going to blow up the bottle. So I'll show you what that looks like. Sometimes they split down the sides. Worst case scenario, you don't want that blowing up in your face. Either a pressure regulator or just be very easy on the throttle. Because if this thing blows up in your eye, it's, you know, it ain't gonna kill you, but it's just gonna be such a pain in the ass to flush your eyes out. Plus you're gonna stink to all hell too if you blow it up.